Hello YouTube, this is Galway You here with a brand new deck profile. Today I'll bring you Satellarknights, and this is the Demise build. If you want the plain non-Demise version, that's also on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out if that's what you prefer. But let's get straight into the deck profile, and yeah, this deck is really tight for space. So I've had to cut a lot of good trap cards and a lot of good tech choices just because, you know, you want that solid 40 cards, and yeah, it works really well. I think it's better than the standard version, although it has a really bad mid game, like really bad, especially if you're playing against a good fast meta deck. So starting off, you got your 3 Deneb, no explanation needed. 3 Eunuch, no explanation needed in the Demise build anyways. This is often better than Deneb, especially when going first and, you know, with Demise. 3 Altair, great card, really necessary at 3 as well. And 1 Vega, that's kind of the one change from this in standard in terms of the monster count, because it's really not as great with Demise, and also it doesn't. You can search your 1 copy, so it's fine. 1 is more than enough. Then we have 1 Moral Attack because I'm running artifacts, and 2 Scythe. You have your 3 artifacts. That's all you need, and yeah, that's been working out really great for me. These go super well with cards like Call of the Haunted, with cards like Pod Duality, with Demise. All of those cards work really well in tandem with the artifacts, so I did choose to run them. And 1 Thunder King to round out the monsters. Thunder King's at 2 now, and I didn't run the second because, well, first off, there's no need to run it. Once you see the first in your graveyard, then it's always there turning Call of the Haunted into Mistake, pretty much. And the Mistake that gets extra mileage out of the fact you can then overlay it on your turn, and better than that, you can actually negate your opponent's summons, especially with cards like Blue Eyes Alternative. This card can just, you know, tribute itself and negate that summon. Really good card. But at 2, it's not really necessary, because once you see the first, that's all you need. For the spells, really simple. You got your 3 Demise. That's all you really need. You know, this is the namesake of the deck. It's great. It's just so good with Satellarknights and artifacts in general, and with such a heavy trap count. Perfect. Brilliant card. 3 Duality, it works perfectly with Demise. There's no reason not to run 3. It can help dig for the Demise in the first place, and if you draw it from Demise, you can, you know, activate it and get another trap, and it's crazy. Stupid card. 1 Rhoda and 1 Upstart, they're both at 1, so yeah, just consistency. For the traps, and there's quite a lot of traps as you can see. Let's get into those. 3 Stellar Nova Alpha, it's Satellarknights, and it's Demise, why wouldn't you? Great card. 3 Sanctum, I'm running artifacts. This is actually a really good card, and it allows you to toolbox. Against BAPK, you can bring out a Scythe, and it just ends their turn. And that's one of the main reasons. And then also against against Blue Eyes, you can Moral Attack one of their combo or an alternative or something, and it just kind of stops them in their tracks too. And not to mention, works perfectly with Demise because the special summons on your opponent turn, and it also gets those artifacts out of the deck into the graveyard to be brought back with Call of the Haunted. So it just works so well. So 3 Sanctum, 3 Strikes, of course. Why wouldn't I? It's one of the best traps, and in a lot of situations it's almost better than Warning. It's great against pendulums. It can just turn games over. It's great against a lot of decks, especially with Monarchs gone. They can't do that return trick anymore, so against pretty much every deck it's pretty good. Even decks like Metal Foes that don't actually use effect monsters that often, it just stops the pendulum summon, so it's great. 1 Warning, of course, it's still a great card. Then we've 3 Call of the Haunted. Not a lot to say about this. In fact, I have a 4th Call of the Haunted in Oasis. Great with every card. It special summons on your opponent's turn, so therefore it doesn't conflict with Demise. It's set to the back row, and it can be used with the artifacts and Thunder King, and so much potential, and really raises the ceiling of the deck. So yeah. Then we've on 1-ofs, we have 1 Drowning Mirror Force, 1 Fiendish Chain, 1 Time Space, and 1 Vanities. Now, Vanities is such a great card in general, that's why I run that at 1, and it's at 1. Then we had the 1 Time Space, which is for Rafflesia, and then we had this for Trigger, and just this because it's random good. Like, these are all really good cards, not as good as the cards that are run at 3, but they're still great, so I have those at 1. And that's it for the 40 card main deck, and let's get into the extra deck, which is what the Satellarknights are known for, making Exceed monsters. So yeah, starting off, got your 2 Diamond. This is just so good against BAPK, which seems to be the most popular deck of the format right now, alongside Blue Eyes, but this card just really good. So I do run the 2 just in case they out the first. It's not hard to get a second out. And then 2 Trevere. Of course, Trevere is probably the win condition of the deck. I'm not running Rungomniad anymore because in this Desire build, because it's nearly impossible to make him with no soul charges. So yeah, he wasn't really worth the space in the extra deck anymore. Then 1 Deltros, of course, just for the situations where you need him. Tsukiyomi, even if you don't see Demise gun first, this card is also a great exceed to make, just if you can make put Vega with Eunuch or Deneb or something and make a play out of that. One Flesia, it's great against BA. You can just put this in defense position and they find it difficult to out, as well as the fact you have a time space to out what they make or what they're trying to make, especially a Beatrice or a Dante or whatever. Dweller, of course, it's a staple rank 4. It's a rank 4 deck. Emerald, of course, it's great in Satellarknights, especially shuffling back those Altairs. Diamond Direwolf really needs no explanation. Same with Castell and Arc. You could run a second Castell or a second Diamond Direwolf over this. I was thinking about putting in the second Castell over it, but I've just kept it in for those situations where I want to protect myself on the opponent's turn as well. You know, if it's kind of like a extended game state where, you know, it just keeps going back and forth. It's quite good in those situations. And then we have Cowboy, Dark Rebellion, and Rhapsody, and I'll probably be taking these out for that Utopia the Lightning thing. I haven't got my hands on those yet because they just came out here in Europe, so they're really brand new out, and I don't even think I've seen them yet. In fact, I think they're just about legal, so I'll have to pick those up and replace these cards with those. So yeah, that's it for the extra deck, and because people have been asking, especially in my last Satellarknight video, what my side deck is, this is my really makeshift side deck that will probably change by the time I go to an event, but here you have anyways. The light's really strong there, sorry about that. 2 Veiler. I would, if Maxi wasn't at 2, I'd be running 1 Veiler and 3 Maxi, or maybe Ghost Ogre or whatever, and 2 Maxi. This is for going second. These cards do not work with Demise, that's why they're not in the main deck. I really love Maxi at main if Demise wasn't in here. But if you know you're going to be going second and you're siding out cards like Demise or siding out a few trap cards or whatever, maybe a Drowning Mirror Force after, you know, the surprise is lost, then you can side these in, they're great. Then Regeki. Regeki is really good against a lot of decks this format, especially with kind of Cosmo seeing a decline, and BAPK is probably the exception to that rule, but against like Blue Eyes and Pendulum decks, you can just really out those boards. It's really quite nice. I was thinking about running Dark Holes as well, maybe 1 or 2 of them in the side, but in this version I haven't put those in. 2 Twin Twisters and 2 MST. The reason I don't run 3 and 1 is because some are better against different decks. Like if you know you're going against a deck that doesn't really main traps, but might be siding in floodgates like Royal Decree, you're better off putting this in because your Twin Twisters are going to be wasted. You're going to be hitting 1 card off and discarding a card that's not great, because you don't really plus off discarding and tellers. Even though you can draw dead cards, it's not the greatest. And Twin Twisters is, you know, if you're going against a deck that does use, you know, traps, like maybe a Pendulum deck or something, running Ariadne's, I don't know. In any situation where you think you're going to have to like face down a couple of back row, you can just pop this in and, you know, probably out advantage them just because of how powerful the deck is. Also, they're great to put in going second again. Then for Floodgates, I run Soul Drain and 2 Shadow Imprisoning. Could be 3 Shadow Imprisoning, but I think Soul Drain's just better for those decks like I don't know, Lightsworn or whatever, that do things, I don't know, Mermails maybe, I'm not sure. This is at 1 as well, so I figured that was fine. And then last, you've got your 3 Iron Wall. This is just because decks like Cosmo still exist and decks that can banish still exist, so I think it's still worth having in the extra side deck, sorry. And the side deck is really open to change as well. I just put this together pretty much last night because I haven't really played an event this format. I judged my last event, which was yesterday, where I picked up the Demises themselves. And yeah, I haven't put really a side deck together, but this is just what I had for the moment, and it makes sense to me, and probably what I'll play for the next couple of locals. I'll have a Pepe deck up tomorrow or today or whenever. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. That's my Demise Satellarknight deck for this September 2016 format. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, all that stuff. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.